Hey everyone. Okay, I got the diesel pulled out. I'm going to start building the tensioner. It should not take me too long to do. Here is the piece of flat stock I have for it. I initially had a piece that was a little bit thinner, but this piece here will fit right over top of that pulley perfectly fine. What I'm going to do is take it, and I'm going to take the old pulley and bend the piece of steel to match the pulley, and it's probably going to end off right around here, probably right about here. So it's obviously not going to be touching the pulley because you do want a bit of a gap between the pulley and the stop for obvious reasons, because you want the belt to have a little bit of room to move. So I'm going to do that. Then I got a piece of square. I'm going to make an upright that'll go from here up and across. And pretty much everything's going to end at the battery box in some way, either right at the edge of the battery box, or this piece of flat is just going to stick right underneath here, and I'll weld it in. I'll even drill a couple holes up top and plug weld it, and that'll hold that in. And then the square, I might just end up just using the square over here. If I need it over here, and if I need it across the top, I'll cut it and I'll put it across the top. But looking at it now, I actually don't think I'll need it. Just needed a little bit of it. I wish I had some scraps of it. I used it all up, unfortunately. But there's where I'm at on this for right now. We'll pull the battery, cover the engine. I almost ran out of fuel. I had it running just to warm it up to move it, and it started chugging, but it's fixed now. And now I gotta go out and get more diesel, unfortunately. So I'm practically out. I wish I could figure out different ways of doing biodiesel. I just got to really just gotta get the containers, and I gotta get the oil and methods of straining the oil to do biodiesel. It'd be kind of cool to do and make this thing smell like French fries. A lot better than smelling like diesel fuel, that's for sure. But people are saying you don't buy a diesel if you like your neighbors. And I don't mind my neighbors. For the most part, they're okay. Most of them, at least. Okay, bit of a progress report. It's mocked up and somewhat tacked in. It's tacked in on that side of the battery tray. I got my upright tacked in right here. It's also tacked in down here. And I made a little fancy bend right here. That's also tacked in. This will all be painted today, and I'm going to go for a test drive first. Make sure everything holds together, make sure nothing flies off. But actually it looks pretty good. The bends all look good. The belt has plenty of movement. It's just hitting the clamp right there. So it's got clearance in there. If I have to, I can come in here with a screwdriver and I can bend that upwards if need be. But the bottom curve came out perfect, as you can see. But the top curve kind of went wonky, kind of like a D shape a bit. But it turned out pretty good. I'll weld it here. I don't have a chop saw for steel. That's something I want to invest in eventually. So I can't do necessarily straight cuts. I do my best with the grinder. It came out pretty good. Going to weld that in, weld it in on the other side, possibly remove the diesel tank and weld it. But I have this old sleeping bag covering up the engine just to protect it from the heat and the sparks. But like I said before, diesel has a much higher combustion than gasoline, so I'm not too worried. Mainly in this area here, I'll mainly pull this across, or I'll get one of my welding gloves and stick it in there. And then I gotta cut this end off right here, and that's gonna be a fun cut because it's right against the diesel tank. Unfortunately, I gotta hurry up with my welds. My helmet is dying. I had it sitting in the back window, but it still does not want to charge. So I'm probably going to stick it in the house somewhere, or try and find the sunniest spot inside for it and try and get it charged up. We're supposed to get nice weather again next week, so I want to get this done. But before I do any other welding, I got to get my helmet charged. Okay, I got everything pretty much done on here now. It's actually Sunday now. I started this on Saturday. Got way too dark last night to do a final video. I did finish it all then. But as you can see, everything's wet. It is raining out. It's real damp and chilly out today. It's that time of year, but I'm happy I got it done. Everything's all painted. A little bit overspray on the engine, not a big deal. A little overspray on the pulley. I could not get the pulley off. Sometimes these pulleys are really nice and they'll just slide right off. Sometimes they're a pain in the butt. But Most likely next time one of these breaks, I might just end up replacing it with a just a weld-on pulley, like weld-on pulley and hub. We'll see. I do like these ones because when they work correctly, they do pop out, and they're really good pulleys. But when they don't work correctly, they're a pain in the butt. So there's where I'm at. I did run the engine last night, and it actually seems to be okay. Actually, with this angle down here, it's actually holding the belt in a lot better. It's actually stopping the belt a lot quicker as well. Before, the belt would run a little bit more, and it would be flopping around like crazy whenever you put clutch in, and there's no flop at all now. Also, I don't know if I'll get to this today, there's another tensioner. I think this is missing from the back. This guy right here on the spare transaxle. I think this is missing off of that tractor. So I'm going to be taking this off of here and taking a look underneath there and seeing if I can put this on there. I'd like to get this in the shop. It does have some moisture in it, but it's not overly bad, so I wouldn't mind getting it in there, getting it up on some jack stands and drain it, and probably refill it with oil, then drain it again and like cycle it in a few times. I'm not going to use good gear oil. I'm just going to use this regular used oil. Just dump it through there, help clean it out a bit, and go from there with this. Either remove the shifter and dump it in through there, or I'll remove it at the drain plug and fill and drain it through there. We'll see. I may get to that today, don't know yet, but I'd like to get that inside. Also today, this is something I do want to do. I want to get this here pulled apart. More on that later. But anyways, for the diesel, all I got left to do now is stick the hood back on, but I gotta do some wiring in the hood. The LED headlights were garbage in this thing pretty much since the beginning. So I found a new set of headlights, had them sitting around, so I'm ended up putting them on here. And I gotta put the battery back in, of course. That's nothing. I also ground this back here, so it's not such a blunt edge right up against the battery. It should help that out a little bit, prevent some premature wearing of the battery. So I guess that's pretty much it for this video. I can't really think of anything else to show. I just mainly want to do a video of the tensioner and building the tensioner, and I pretty much bent all this with my hands and my knee, and I used this tire bit. I tried to use the extra pulley, but it didn't really work out the way I thought it was going to work out. And then this bend here, I used the vise, and it bent up pretty good, and it actually all turned out pretty good. Got all this bolted back on last night, so I guess that's pretty much it for this. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please try and comment.